Welcome to this module about tracking a debate. In this video, I'm going to talk about a few things you can do to help your notes become more accurate and participate better in the judge discussion that comes after the round. In addition to this, you'll see three judges explain how they track a debate, and you'll be able to see how they actually apply this as they track a top half debate that you'll be able to watch as well. The point of tracking a debate is ultimately so that your notes can help you participate more effectively in the judge discussion, be it as a chair or as a wing. That means it's meant to remind you of what was said, who said it, and how exactly it was said, because these things matter when it comes to how well a speaker has done or how well a team has done in contributing to the round. So what does this mean for the notes that you're taking? Well, obviously, you should always take note of what a speaker has claimed, and crucially, you should take note of the unique reasons that they have offered to support that claim. These are the reasons that will become important when judges are weighing up whether an argument was well proven or whether an argument was responded to. Even if something doesn't seem that important to you, try and make a note of it if you think it could be of significance later on, because until someone points out the relevance of something, be it a bit of framing or a piece of context or a bit of rebuttal, it might not be obviously important now, but the point of a judge discussion is to be able to make these things clear, and you want to have some reference or some contribution there. Something else that's quite important, and we'll discuss it more in future chapters and modules, is the ability to be as specific as possible in a judge discussion. But for now, just remember that the notes you make shouldn't just give you a general impression of what was said. They should also help you when a judge or the chair asks you to provide evidence for a claim that you think has been made, for you to be able to say, it was in this speech approximately at this time in the beginning or near the end where this claim was made, because that will help your contributions in the round and will help you be a better chair or a better wing. At the same time, judging is about being able to see the bigger picture and how the big contributions of each team interact with each other. So you don't want your notes to simply be a laundry list of every single small thing that was mentioned in the round. And so what you want to potentially do is find a way to highlight or duplicate the more important or the more significant parts of a speech or of a team's case. And what that allows you to do is to access that more quickly when you don't need a deep dive into what they've said. There are a few ways you could do this. You could, as the debate goes on, or at the end of every speech, you could make note of what these big picture ideas are, or you could scribble notes or use a highlighter on your notes as you go on. And so you can quite quickly go back and see what the crucial parts of a speech were. Finally, something that's quite crucial but underrated is tracking the points of information which were accepted. Not the ones which were offered, but not given, because that doesn't affect the debate quite so much. But when a team gives a point of information, it's crucial to track which team it was that gave it, what the point was, and the response that was offered in the moment. The reason this is significant is that most people just don't track it that well, but in very close comparisons, it can make a huge difference. And so it's very helpful to be able to point to the specific things that was said and the specific response that was offered when evaluating the interaction between two teams. And in many cases, these teams don't interact anywhere else, and so it's doubly important that you take note of the interaction that does happen. And so finally, within this group of guiding principles and requirements, there is no other rule that says one way of tracking is better than another. And so you might want to experiment with different things to see what works best for you. You might want to try tracking on a computer, as some of our samples will do later on, or you might try tracking on a single sheet of paper for multiple speeches, or a single sheet of paper for each speech or each team. It's entirely up to you, but I would recommend trying something out and seeing what affects you the most and what gives you the most comfort and the most fluidity in being able to use these notes later on in the judge discussion. So that brings this short video about the theory of tracking a debate to an end. And as I've already mentioned, there are three samples for you to look at and see if any of those tracking styles might be something that you're inspired by and something you would like to incorporate into the way you do it. Additionally, we're going to try and answer questions that you may have about how to track a debate or advice on the matter as well as we can. Going forward, we'll be doing these modules on different topics, so stay tuned for more content, and if you have any suggestions for things we would want to cover, do let us know by dropping us an email or dropping us a message. Thanks very much, and I hope it was helpful.